Hello and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. Tonight we're doing another episode of Quick Whiskey Shots, and tonight we'll be reviewing Elijah Craig Rye. So let's get into it. Alright, so here's our bottle for tonight, Elijah Craig Rye. But first, a brief history of Elijah Craig. So Elijah Craig was a Baptist preacher, and for a while he was actually preaching without a license. Because of this, he was put in jail. Once he got his freedom back, he decided he wasn't going to put up with this anymore, and he moved west to Kentucky. He actually moved to the area that would become Georgetown, Kentucky, and he actually helped found what is now Georgetown. He also helped found the schools there and Georgetown College itself. Now, on top of doing all this, as if he wasn't busy enough, Elijah Craig also started distilling whiskey. Now, on some bottles of Elijah Craig, it actually credits Elijah Craig as being the father of bourbon because supposedly he was the first to use charred oak barrels. Now, this isn't really historically accurate, but it does probably help sell some bottles. Anyway, let's get into this bottle and see what it's all about. Let's get this thing poured and see if we can get some good notes out of the nose and the taste. Now, this was kind of allocated last year, but now it seems to be everywhere. So if you had a hard time finding it before, it's much easier to find now. Let's see what we can get on the nose. All right, so definitely rye for you. You can tell immediately this is a rye. Getting kind of those typical rye notes, mint, maybe some citrus like orange, some peppery notes, definitely black pepper. And then of course you are getting some of the bourbon notes showing through, your cinnamons, your brown sugars, definitely a lot of caramel in there. And there's some real strong woodiness, and then some char as well. And I would say you're getting a little sour oak in there, although a very nice nose. All those flavors work really well together on the nose. Let's go ahead and get our first sip. All right, so the front of the palate is kind of muted. It's very subtle as it first hits your tongue. But then as it works its way to the back of the palate, then all those flavors that we smelled on the nose start showing up. It's kind of like a citrusy mint cinnamon kind of candy. It's very sweet on the back of the palate. So if you can imagine like an orange mint, and I would say more like a spearmint in this case, with hints of cinnamon and a little peppery spice. That's what you're getting kind of on the back of the palate. And then as it goes into the finish, you're getting a little more of those woody notes. Let's see if we can get anything else out of this. Get one more sip here. Yeah, so on the front of the palate, you're just kind of getting like a soft caramel and a little brown sugar, and then it goes into that mint, orange, cinnamon, kind of peppery note. And then a little cherry shows up kind of way back of the palate going into the finish. And then I would say you get then the oak really starts showing through. The kind of soury oak note and the char starts showing up. And then you also get a really nice like sweet cinnamon in there as well on the finish. And that's kind of what lingers in your throat. It's just that kind of sweet, woody cinnamon note. And I actually like this finish quite a bit. So again, as always, if you've never tried this, it seems to be more available now, at least in Kentucky where I'm at. I'm seeing this everywhere. So if you see it around, it's definitely worth a buy. I think I paid $33 for this one, and I think it's definitely worth that, kind of in your more budget rye price range. So if you see it, pick it up. And as always, folks, I hope you enjoyed this quick whiskey shot. Don't forget to give it a like down in the comments. And just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.